All right, ready to dive into something a little different?
Yeah, let's hear it.
We're tackling the business of laundry today.
Laundry.
Yep, but not just any laundry. We're talking Kathy Ireland Laundry. I know you're big on entrepreneurship, right?
Always. What do they got going on?
Well, buckle up because their business model is full of surprises. We dug into their documents, and let me tell you, this goes way beyond just tossing clothes in a dryer. We're talking tech, we're talking community building,
Oh, wow.
even generational wealth. Maybe. It's a whole different spin on the laundry game.
I gotta say, it is fascinating how a name like Kathy Ireland, a name everybody knows, can really shake things up in a traditional industry like laundry.
Exactly. And the documents, they reveal a really smart strategy. It's not just about washing and drying. There's a whole lot more going on beneath the surface.
Definitely more to it than meets the eye.
Okay, so picture this. You're thinking about opening a laundromat, right? What's the first thing that pops into your head?
Probably finding a location, all the equipment, figuring out what to charge.
Right, a million things to sort out. But Kathy Ireland Laundry, they use this licensing model that actually simplifies a lot of that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like a franchise, but their focus is on empowering the laundromat owners. They provide the brand recognition, Kathy Ireland, they handle the marketing stuff, and they give you the operational know-how so you can just focus on, running the business itself. They even call it the Kathy Ireland difference.
Makes it sound pretty special. But isn't there a trade-off there? You win the name and the support, but how much control are you really giving up?
That is a great question, and it's something anyone thinking about this needs to think about carefully. The documents talk about their contracts being super streamlined, like only 10 to 12 pages long, and they really stress a collaborative approach. But yeah, you always want to make sure you fully understand what you're signing up for.
Makes sense.
Okay, so let's dig into these three pillars. They talk about brand marketing, operations, and community. What do you think? I mean, obviously having the Kathy Ireland name attached gives you instant credibility, but what does that actually do for a laundromat owner?
Well, I think it's about attracting a certain type of customer, the kind of customer who values quality, reliability, and maybe even a certain lifestyle that they associate with the brand.
Like you walk into a Kathy Ireland laundromat and you expect a certain level of, I don't know, sophistication.
Exactly. Think busy professionals, families who are willing to pay a bit more for convenience and a name they trust.
So it's not just about being the cheapest option, it's about creating a better overall experience.
That's it. And when it comes to operations, they're all about using data to make smart decisions and, boost those profits. They give you real-time insights into everything like how often machines are being used, what kind of people are coming in, all that stuff.
Wow.
That helps owners set the right prices, staff efficiently, even save on energy costs.
That's a whole other level of strategy that I wouldn't expect from a regular laundromat. It's like they're modernizing the whole industry.
You got it. Now, the community aspect, this is pretty interesting. They really emphasize this peer-to-peer learning, connecting owners across the country so they can share best practices and support each other.
That's actually really cool.
Like having a network of mentors and colleagues right there for you.
Definitely.
And they've got this program called Laundry University.
I saw that.
It provides training on, well, just about everything you need to know, like marketing and customer service, equipment, how to handle financials, the whole 9 yards.
Sounds like they really want their licensees to succeed.
And they do. But, running a laundromat, it can be tough. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges owners face? And how does this Kathy Ireland laundry model help them, avoid those pitfalls?
Good question. I mean, staying ahead of the competition has got to be tough. There's all these on-demand services popping up. People are more eco-conscious, so you keep up with all that.
Right, the industry's changing fast, but Kathy Ireland Laundry, they actually encourage owners to embrace these trends. They offer guidance on setting up pickup and delivery services, using those eco-friendly detergents, even integrating things like mobile payments. They're not afraid of change.
I noticed they have that Ireland Pay system.
Yeah, cashless payments.
What do you think? It seems like it would be convenient for customers, but is it really worth it for the owner?
It's all about convenience and security. Customers love that they can pay with their phones, no more digging for quarters.
Makes sense.
And for the owner, less risk of theft, accounting's easier, and you get valuable data on what people are spending. But the really interesting thing is how they link Ireland Pay Law with their loyalty programs and special offers.
Oh, smart.
Creates a more engaging experience for the customer. You're not just doing laundry, you're a part of something.
Yeah, using technology to streamline things and build loyalty at the same time. That's pretty clever. What about the equipment, though? Do they have to find their own washers and dryers, or does Kathy Ireland Laundry have deals with certain manufacturers?
That's one thing they don't really go into detail about in these documents. They mention this Aloha laundry supply, and it seems like a key part of their offering, but it's not clear if you have to use them or if it's just a recommendation.
That's definitely something to look into. If they can get good equipment at a good price, That's a big advantage. And who knows, maybe Kathy Island Laundry gets a cut too if they have exclusive deals with those suppliers.
You're already thinking like an entrepreneur. Always good to consider all the potential revenue streams.
Got to look at the whole picture. Okay, so we've talked about the licensing model, the three pillars. Now let's get into the specifics of the licensing options. They have the laundromat licenses and the territory licenses, right?
Yep.
But I'm still a little fuzzy on what each one actually entails. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So laundromat licenses, those are for anyone who wants to own and operate a Kathy Ireland laundromat.
Straightforward down.
Doesn't matter if it's a brand new location, if you're rebranding an existing laundromat, even if you're fixing up an older one.
Oh, okay, so you get the license, you open your laundromat, and you've got the brand recognition and support to help you along the way. But what about these territory licenses?
Those are a little more complex. Think of it as an investment in the Kathy Ireland laundry brand, but within a specific geographical area. You're not running any laundromats directly, but you're betting on the brand's growth in that territory.
So kind of like buying a franchise, but instead of just one location, you're buying the rights to a whole region.
That's a good way to think about it. And as more laundromats open up in your territory, you get a piece of their revenue, their licensing fees, all that.
Sounds potentially lucrative, but also pretty risky. What are the downsides?
Well, the biggest risk is market saturation. If the brand doesn't grow as fast as you expect, you might not make as much money as you thought. Plus, you're relying on the other laundromat owners in your territory to do well because their success directly affects your earnings.
Ah, so it's higher risk, potentially higher reward compared to just owning one laundromat. And what about the money side of things? I know they mentioned laundromat licenses starting at $19,000, but what about the ongoing costs? And how much money can you actually make?
Well, they have these service plans, bronze, silver, and gold, that offer different levels of support and resources. The bronze plan starts at $99 a month, and the gold plan goes up to $399 a month.
That's a pretty hefty monthly expense. What are you actually getting for that money? The documents list things like pre-made social media posts and marketing emails, but is that really worth hundreds of dollars every month?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. The higher tier plans offer more hands-on support. Think co-branded marketing campaigns, access to industry experts, even one-on-one time with laundry specialists. The idea is that all these resources help you avoid making costly mistakes and get to profitability faster.
But do they guarantee a return on investment for those higher tier plans?
That's a good question to ask. They don't give specific ROI projections in these documents. However, they really emphasize their commitment to helping their licensees succeed. It's all about maximizing efficiency, making customers happy, and ultimately boosting those profits.
Okay, so we've got the licensing options, the cost, all that. But what about funding? Do they help aspiring laundromat owners get the money they need to get started?
They do. Actually, they highlight this Premier Access program that offers fast-tracked financing options. You could potentially get pre-approved within 24 hours and have the funds in as little as 7 days.
Wow, that's fast. It seems like they're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to become licensees.
Exactly. They want to remove any obstacles and make this opportunity available to anyone who's got the drive and the passion to succeed in the laundry industry.
But there's something I'm not quite following. They offer funding through this third-party provider, but then they have a disclaimer saying they're not affiliated with Premier Access. Isn't that a bit contradictory?
It is a little unusual. Maybe it's a way for them to offer financing options without taking on the risk of lending themselves. It's worth noting they do give you the contact information for Premier Access, so if you're interested, you can talk to them directly about the terms and conditions.
Makes sense. Transparency is crucial when it comes to money, especially in business partnerships. Now, they also talk about 4 main growth strategies, right? Let's dive into those. I'm really curious about how they see laundromat owners scaling their businesses.
Okay, so they start with the foundation, the classic coin-operated laundry model. This is where you build up your customer base, fine-tune your operations, really get the hang of things.
Start with the basics.
Right. You can't run before you can walk.
So what's the next step?
It's called wash, dry, fold. Basically, you offer a more convenient service for customers who are happy to pay a little extra to have their laundry washed, dried, and folded for them.
Oh, I see.
It's a good way to increase revenue without having to buy more equipment.
Smart. It's all about maximizing what you've already got. What's the third growth strategy?
That would be pickup and delivery. This takes convenience to a whole new level. You pick up the laundry, wash and dry it, and then deliver it back to the customer.
That's a game changer. But wouldn't that be super complicated to manage? You need drivers, scheduling, making sure everything's on time. Seems like a lot to handle.
It definitely requires a lot of organization and efficiency, but that's where the Kathy Ireland Laundry Support System comes in. They provide guidance on setting up pickup and delivery, including software to manage the logistics and marketing materials to promote the service, even training for your drivers on how to provide excellent customer service.
So it's not like they just give you a plan and say, figure it out.
Yep. They actively help you navigate the challenges of implementing these growth strategies.
So they're invested in their licensees' success, which ultimately benefits them as well.
Exactly. They know that their brand's success is tied to how well their licensees do.
All right, we've got coin-operated laundry, wash, dry, fold, and pickup and delivery. What's that fourth growth strategy?
It's expansion. That's the big dream for a lot of laundromat owners, opening multiple locations to reach more customers and really maximize their revenue potential.
Makes sense, but isn't that incredibly expensive? I mean, finding locations, buying equipment, hiring staff.
It's definitely a big investment, but Kathy Ireland Laundry says they help with things like site selection, lease negotiation, and even financing the equipment. They try to make it as smooth as possible.
Okay, that's good to know, but what about market saturation? If everyone starts opening multiple locations, won't the market get flooded, leading to more competition and lower profits for everyone?
That's a valid point, and it's something that Kathy Ireland Laundry acknowledges. They stress the importance of strategic growth and careful market analysis.
So it's not about expanding just for the sake of it. It's about making smart decisions based on data and market trends.
Exactly, and that's something they say they can help with as well, providing market research and demographic analysis so licensees can make informed decisions about expansion.
Okay, so we've talked about the licensing model, the different options, the growth strategies. But what about the people behind the brand? Who are the key players making all this happen?
Well, according to the documents, Larry Kozin is the founder, Dr. Jamil is the CEO, Kathy Ireland herself is the brand ambassador, Daniel Ellis is the CTO, and John Belov handles national expansion.
That's quite a team, a lot of experience in different areas. The CTO position is interesting.
Yeah,
It suggests a focus on technology, which makes sense with everything we've been discussing.
you're right. It seems like they're not just relying on Kathy Ireland's fame, but they're also building a strong tech foundation to support their operations and those growth strategies.
And they have John Bellows heading up national expansion. I bet he's got his hands full. It seems like they're really serious about growing this brand aggressively.
It definitely looks that way. And with that kind of team, they seem to be in a good position to make a real impact on the laundry industry.
All right, so we've got a good overview of the Kathy Ireland laundry business model, but I'm curious to hear your take on all of this. What stands out to you as the most innovative part of their approach?
I think it's how they're blending the old with the new. They're taking this age-old industry and bringing in technology, a strong brand, and a really sophisticated support system. They're totally reimagining the laundromat, both for the customers and for the people running the business.
I agree. It's not just about selling licenses. It's about building a community and giving people a roadmap for success in an industry that's constantly changing. But are there any downsides? What are some red flags that people should be aware of before they jump in?
Well, the high licensing fees and those monthly service plan costs are something to think about. It's important to crunch the numbers and make sure the potential return is worth the investment. And as we talked about, market saturation is a risk, especially with that territory license option.
Right. And even with the laundromat license, you're still relying on the Kathy Ireland brand to stay strong and attract customers. What happens if the brand loses its appeal? Or if Kathy Ireland steps away?
Those are valid concerns. It's always smart to think about the long-term viability of any franchise or licensing opportunity. You have to assess the risks of relying on a single brand or person.
Okay, so we covered the good, the bad, and the maybe not so good. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on one last thing that really jumped out at me, and that's their mission statement. They talk about creating generational wealth.
Yeah.
Is that just marketing speak, or do you think there's real potential for laundromat owners to build a legacy business with Kathy Ireland Laundry?
It's a bold statement for sure, but I think it reflects their long-term vision for the brand. They're not just looking for quick wins, they're trying to create a sustainable system that benefits everyone involved.
But is it realistic? Can owning a laundromat really set you up for generational wealth?
It's definitely possible. Think about it. The laundry industry is pretty recession-proof. People always need clean clothes. And with the right business model and a strong brand, there's no reason why you couldn't build a successful, profitable business that you can pass down.
So it's not about getting rich quick, it's a long-term investment.
Exactly.
But let's be honest, there are easier ways to build wealth than dealing with dirty clothes all day. What's the real appeal here?
I think it's the combination of stability, simplicity, and the potential for growth. The laundry industry is relatively stable. People always need clean clothes. And the business itself is pretty straightforward, especially with all the support that Kathy Ireland Laundry provides.
So it's a business that's easy to get into, has consistent demand, and could be scaled up. That's pretty attractive, especially for people who want stability and a hands-on approach.
Exactly. And you can't forget about the Kathy Ireland brand. It adds a touch of class and sophistication to a business that's not always seen as glamorous.
It's like they're making laundry. Cool. But I'm still curious about those territory licenses. They project a potential annual income of $350,000 to $1 million. How's that even possible if you're not actually running any of the laundromats?
It's all about scale. As more Kathy Ireland Laundry locations open up in your territory, you get a percentage of their revenue. The more laundromats, the more you potentially earn.
Okay, get it, but it seems pretty risky. What if the brand doesn't take off in your area? Or what if those laundromat owners don't do well? You're basically betting on other people's businesses.
You're not wrong. It's a higher risk, higher reward situation. That's why they really emphasize doing your homework before investing in a territory license. You've got to look at the growth potential of the brand in your area and the overall economic conditions.
So it's not as simple as just writing a check and waiting for the money to roll in. You need to be actively involved in understanding the market and helping the brand grow in your territory. It's more like being a regional brand ambassador than a passive investor.
Exactly. You're not just buying a license, you're buying into a vision for the future of laundry.
All right, so we've covered the financial projections, the potential upsides and downsides, and the big vision behind the Kathy Ireland Laundry brand. But let's talk about the practicalities. Let's say I'm intrigued and want to learn more. What's the next step?
The documents provide several ways to get in touch with the Kathy Ireland Laundry team. They have a website, a phone number, an email address, and they even encourage people to connect with them on social media.
So they're making themselves available to answer questions and provide more information. But wouldn't it be great to hear from people who are already licensees? I mean, what's it really like to own and operate a Kathy Ireland Laundry laundromat? What are the challenges? What are the reward? Are there any surprises along the way?
That's a great point. The documents talk about the benefits and the support they offer, but hearing from actual owners would give you a much more realistic and nuanced perspective.
Right. It's one thing to read about their data-driven approach in community building, but it's another to hear how those ideas work in practice.
Exactly. And I'm sure Kathy Ireland Laundry would be happy to connect you with some of their current licensees so you can hear those firsthand accounts.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of in this deep dive. We've talked about the business model, the licensing options, the growth strategies, the financials, and even the people behind the brand. But if you had to pick one key takeaway for our listeners, what would it be? What's the core of the Kathy Ireland Laundry opportunity?
I think it's about reimagining what's possible. They're taking something as ordinary as laundry and turning it into a platform for entrepreneurship, innovation, and maybe even generational wealth. It's a reminder that you can find opportunities and reinvent industries with the right vision, the right brand, and the right support system.
I love that. It's about seeing opportunity where others might not and challenging our assumptions about what a laundromat can be.
Exactly. It's not just about washing clothes. It's about building a business, building a community, and building a legacy.
Well said. But before we get too carried away, let's bring it back down to earth. What are some practical questions our listeners should ask themselves if they're really thinking about this opportunity?
That's a great question. I think the most important one is, does this align with my values and my vision for the future? It's not just about the numbers. It's about finding a business that you're passionate about, that you believe in, and that reflects what's important to you.
It's about finding a business that feels right deep down.
Exactly. And once you figured that out, then it's time to do your homework. Research the market, talk to people who are already doing it, look at the numbers, and make sure you understand the risks and the potential reward.
Solid advice. Don't jump in without thinking it through.
Definitely not. And remember, entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not always going to be easy. There will be ups and downs, challenges you didn't expect, and unexpected turns. But with the right mindset, the right support, and the right opportunity, it can be incredibly rewarding.
Very well said. And who knows, maybe the next time we do a deep dive, it'll be on our listeners' thriving Kathy Ireland laundry business.
That would be awesome. We'll be rooting for you.
All right, so we've given our listeners a lot to think about. We've explored the business model, the financials, the potential risks and rewards, and even the philosophy behind the Kathy Ireland laundry opportunity.
Yeah, we've covered a lot, but remember, this is just the beginning. A deep dive is all about sparking your curiosity and encouraging you to dig deeper.
Exactly. We've given you the tools and the knowledge, but it's up to you to take the next step.
Do your research, ask those tough questions, and trust your gut. That's what being an entrepreneur is all about.
And who knows, maybe the next deep dive will be on your very own successful Kathy Ireland laundry empire.
Now that would be a story worth telling.
But for now, let's take a break.